Hey everyone, welcome back to the High Note channel. Are you one of the many real estate agents wondering how to take your business to the next level? Namely from rookie to top producer to team leader, then to a brokerage owner and finally selling your brokerage? Whatever stage you're at, this is the place for you as we regularly deliver great tips and content on how to get you to the next stage of your career, whatever stage that is. We provide this information for free. And I'm just walking you guys through my personal journey as a rookie agent to the #2 condo agent in San Francisco, to a team leader and eventually owner of Climb Real Estate, which we led to an acquisition by Realogy. Today, I'm founder and CEO of High Note, the latest and greatest sales platform for the real estate industry. All I ask in return is that if you get anything out of this, do me a favor, you hit that like button. And if you want to keep getting tips and regular content, hit the subscribe button as well. It's very helpful for our channel. Drop a comment below and let me know what other questions we can answer for you. We always appreciate the feedback. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching, and we hope you get a lot out of this. All right, everyone. Randy, you want to kick us off?
All right. This is a discussion. So every day we're constantly learning of new ways to utilize High Note. And we've been seeing some of these post-closing High Note presentations, and people have been sending them in. And quite frankly, I think it's an absolute brilliant use of the product. So I thought it'd be a good idea. Mark and I thought it would be a great idea to bring to you some of the best ideas to streamline your post-closing process, because you are all working with buyers, you're all working with sellers, and just because you close a transaction does not mean the deal is done. And if you look at a traditional customer life cycle, right, or a customer journey, one of the biggest things that you can do is to get that customer into the advocacy stage or the evangelist stage of referring you, right? And being your greatest cheerleader or champion in terms of real estate. So how do we do that though? What are the things that we can do in order to make those people say, hey, listen, if they're at the soccer field or they're at the gym or they're just out and about and somebody's saying, oh, I just heard you just bought a house or sold a house, you want that person talking about you. What's required of you is the best possible experience for that client. And so many people, right? I spent almost 15 years now in real estate tech. I see so many people that just walk away at the end of the transaction.
Randy, why don't you back up? Why don't you introduce yourself first? I'm not sure if everyone knows who you are. I don't even know if everyone knows who I am. Okay. Mark Choi, founder of High Note.
And Randy Toby at High Note. They walk away, and again, hey guys, we're not like professional Facebook livers here, so we're learning.
We're professional Facebook livers. We're doing it. We are professionals now.
They would just stop. I'd seen that for years. People would just kind of stop once the transaction, once they're at the title or the escrow office and they post the picture of just closed. Like the transaction doesn't just stop there. That's where the relationship I truly think needs to be galvanized, because real estate agents, Mark, you were an agent for so long.
Yeah.
You ran a brokerage. Right. And as a real estate agent, first of all, it's really hard to get deals in the first place, getting somebody to go with you or choose you. But then you're also like their family psychiatrist, between the husband and the wife, you have to know the construction stuff or introduce people. Like there's all of these different hats that a real estate agent is wearing. And you spent all this time helping that person. Don't just walk away. This is the time to wow them. At the very end, you did a great job winning the deal. You did a great job with the deal. And now that the deal has ended, we want to wow them again.
That's right.
That's really the point of today's little presentation or conversation. So
that's right. And I wanna segue here to this stat that I've always been talking about, and something we've always known as real estate agents. #1 way, according to NAR, that real estate agents are found. How a buyer finds a real estate agent is word of mouth. And well, this is up to 2017. I need to get this updated, but it hadn't changed much because it's still word of mouth, and it's over 40%. Talking to Randy's point here, raving fans, you need to turn your seller, your buyer into a raving fan so that they can recommend you going forward. And one of the best ways to do that is to not treat the seller or the buyer, your client, into a transaction. It's not a transaction, it's a relationship. And one of the reasons, well, and I've told this story a billion times, you know, how we grew our brokerage and my listing business so fast. We focused in an area where the turnover of homes was greater. And where was that? In condos. In an area where there's a lot of condos, where there's a lot of turnover. You represent the buyer, they quickly turn into a seller within 5 years, right? On average, we found 2 to 7 years or so. You need that turnover, you need that sale, the purchase, the sale, and then the resale again. Like in most places, you know, and the reason why you get that sale is because that was the client you just represented. Same thing here. You need to get the resale. All great agents get the resale after. Why? Because they don't treat the client like a transaction. It's a relationship. After the close, what are some ideas that we should be telling these agents to send to their clients? Let's get into that. Am I missing anything, Randy?
Yeah, before we go there, right? Traditionally, there's not a lot that's being done post-closing. You might send them an email or you might have a couple things, but utilizing Highnote, you can actually deliver them a bunch of things in one single link. And I think that that's where we're going with this, right? It's not just here's one thing. Being able to utilize this, take some of the information down, get a pen and paper, write some of these ideas down. You don't have to do all of them, but just understand, instead of saying, hey, I'm going to send you an email about this, and then I'm going to text you about this, and one unified place that you can send your clients post-closing.
Absolutely. And let's break up the conversation, Randy, into two things: buyers and sellers, right? So like first, when you represent a buyer and close them, what are they? They are now homeowners. So you got to think about what they need as a homeowner. Sellers is a completely different conversation. Sometimes the sellers, they leave and they literally maybe move out of your area and they go from San Francisco to Detroit, or they're going from, you know, New York to Florida, wherever it is, right? And there's, for the buyer who's now a homeowner, that's going to be your source of future deals. You got to treat that like your lead generator going forward, which means treating them right after the transaction, right? After it's done, right? You were talking about how to use Highnote for this. This is one of the, I'm just gonna show this and then we're gonna talk about other ideas that could be it. This is kind of a template that is a real template actually, that we demonstrate to people in the sales, in the presentation that we give. It's a congratulations on the sale of your home. Now it's sort of misworded because this is for the buyer, but it's congratulations on the sale, on the home purchase, right? Here are some cool things you can put in here. Number one thing we always used to put in here as agents is the closing statement, the settlement statement. Why do you do that? Well, obviously because they always need it in the beginning of next year. What we used to always do was, Randy, we used to, at the end of the year, and when it got slow in January timeframe,
right?
We're like, okay, now's the time to start emailing all of your past buyers their closing statement for the previous year for taxes, right? So, you know, you could do it then too, but what I would say is do it after the close and then do it again, right? And do it again at the new year. Send this off again. But, you know, obviously you just closed. So what are the things you're gonna need to send? Well, obviously the settlement statement. You're gonna need to send them this settlement statement that's provided by title, right? And this is an actual one for, I think it's mine, when I bought my loft in San Francisco. I put this in here, $1.4 million loft. This is it. This is everything they're gonna need.
San Francisco prices.
San Francisco prices. This was, I don't even know when this was. This was 2013. So this thing's worth a little more today, you know. But the first thing you should be sending, and it's a great thing because a lot of times you'll find in the beginning of the year, let's say you send it off in April, February comes around and they're doing their taxes, they're looking for it. They open it up and you're gonna get pinged on analytics actually. And you're like, oh, they actually looked at it. Fantastic, it's a great time to reach out. Cool. So the closing statement, the settlement statement, then we also put in the contract. Here's a copy of your contract. Now, of course, you're gonna get this in another way as well. Maybe the transaction manager is gonna send it, etc. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You need to button up this transaction and send them something. So this is the contract. This is what you signed. This is what you agreed to.
Let's talk about that for a second, right? I just got a closing packet sent to me as well. There's a ton of documents, right? It was all put in like PDF, and there's like a ton of them. Like, you know, all the pages in the closing packet. I don't need all those pages. Save me a little time. Get me the ones that I actually need, right? Front and center. Maybe the quickness.
Exactly. That's why we only put the contract in.
Yeah,
Because
I mean, you could always include a
paperwork-
link to your whole closing packet. But I like the idea of those important docs that you're gonna need for taxes, all right, or you know, really important ones,
That's right.
front and center.
It's also a future time saver, because how many times are you busy in the middle of the year and a past client's asking you for these things? Like, hey, do you have a copy of our contract? Do you have a copy of our settlement statement, our closing statement, right?
Yeah.
It's like, do it now. It's the right thing to do. Don't run off to the next transaction. Start building a long-term relationship. Give them a reason to come back to you, right? And that's what these high notes are for. They're like the buyer portal, their home portal, and the homeowner portal. So what else did we put in here in this sample? Utilities. How do you change your utilities? Gas and electricity. Call this. This is what you do. Water and sewer. This is in San Francisco, Marin. This is what you do. Garbage services, Recology, right? Internet and phone service. Be helpful. Make one of these and use it every single time. Every single person. I'm all about leverage, right? Everyone's about leverage. If you want to build a business, it's all about leverage. It's about how to do something one time that builds on itself and repeats. So
yeah, that's what people need to understand here, right? We're talking about streamlining the post-closing process. Hopefully, you're going to have 50, 60, 70, maybe even 90% of it that's evergreen, right? That's always in there for you. And then when it comes to the personalization, right? Something that pushes it over the top, that's where you put that closing statement. That's where you put some of the more specific things in there. But you don't have to recreate the wheel every time, right? You have this one created, you can always add to it, right? It's only gonna be a couple things. And then slightly personalize it just a little bit, right? So utilizing evergreen content or an evergreen strategy will streamline and reduce the amount of time and friction that it takes in order to get these things out quickly.
right, and this would be evergreen. This is something you
Yes.
do all the time. Yeah. Home warranty policy. Sometimes it depends on the market and depends on the situation. The buyer agent would buy the buyer, the homeowner, a home warranty policy as a gift, as a closing. You know, I think it's a great way we used to do it for two reasons, right? One, you know, give them peace of mind. Like anything that breaks in the house, not anything, but whatever's covered by the policy, they can just pick up the phone call and call the home warranty company. The other reason why we did this, how many times has this happened, guys? You are representing the buyer, you're a buyer agent. They move into the house and they discover something that's broken that they didn't discover before. And either it broke because it wasn't caught by the inspector, or two, it broke after the inspection, or it doesn't matter. Either way, it's your fault. The buyer's calling you because they're saying that you're kind of responsible for this. You're the agent. You should be helping me on this. What's an agent for? Getting the home warranty policy is a way to protect yourself as well, because when that thing is broken, they're gonna call you. And guess what's gonna happen? If you don't get that taken care of one way or the other, you're gonna be blamed. You can't be sitting there saying, hey, let me go back to the seller. Let's make a big deal about this.
Deal is done.
The deal is done, right? It's
Yeah.
like, let's move. I'll tell you one story. One time, I represented a buyer in this condo. What happened when they moved in? Between the move out and when they took possession, there was a water leak in the ice maker of the fridge. The water came pouring out and it flooded their kitchen floor, hardwood floors, by the way, rolled into the living room, and it went down another floor, as water leaks tend to do. It goes down.
Right.
In a condo building, and this just happened in San Francisco, a water main broke on the top floor of a luxury apartment building, 36 stories. The water came cascading down, catastrophic damage, destroyed the elevators. It ruined maybe about 50 different rentals. Everyone had to move out. It's a nightmare, right? And this happens in these buildings. Now, the point was, it was like a day between the move out and the leak. The water line cracked and broke, flooded the entire thing. I don't remember if we had a home warranty policy or not. I remember it was a big mess. But after that, we got home warranty policies all the time, and we recommend it to our agents. Get the home warranty policy. Whether you pay for it or someone else pays for it, get it. Make the buyer pay for it then, or the homeowner, right?
Right.
Or you get it. Someone has to get this thing, because these things will happen. And it was like something like $10,000 to $15,000 worth of damage, right?
Yeah, I mean, a floor is not cheap, especially in today's market, let alone finding a contractor, right?
Yeah, but you have to rip it out, remediate, dry it out, and then you have to test for mold. You know, getting this home warranty policy is you're not buying a home warranty policy. You're buying peace of mind for both yourself and your homeowner.
Yeah.
And trust me, anything that breaks, you just have them call them. It's so cheap, right?
Yeah. What else you got on this one? Because we got a bunch of other ones a bunch of other bullet points.
All right, I'll talk less, Randy. All right. Property taxes. How do you pay the property taxes, right? This is a great way to reach out. And some agents would do this regularly. In San Francisco, you'd have to pay twice a year, December 10th and April 10th. This was a great opportunity to reach out and say, hey,
yeah,
tax time is coming. Don't forget to pay. Hey, April tax time is coming. Don't forget to pay. It was a great way to be of value. So this is how you pay property taxes.
Mark, what about the property transfer affidavit? I know in some states you have to drop the property transfer affidavit off. Did you have to do that in San Francisco? Like, because you got like 30 days to have it filed or file it?
Yes, we used to have to do it. At some point in the late 2000s, it became kind of automatic. The title company took care of it.
Sent it in? Okay, gotcha.
The escrow company took care of it. It's like, hey, after the sale, they'll send it in. Yeah, and then get it adjusted. So think about all those things, and these buyers, these homeowners are going to need from you. You pay it forward, put it up front. This way, they don't call you as often when you're busy, but you're still providing value. Your face is all over this thing, and they're like, oh, that's so nice of him. Now, I always went for the reviews. Please review me. I would ask them to do Yelp and Zillow. Congratulations again. Now, there's probably like 5 or 6 other things I could include in here.
Yeah, we got a big list.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
And keep in mind for the reviews, and I don't know about you, but from my experience and the feedback that I've gotten, people love the reviews when they're going out winning new business, right? That social proof, like when it's like, I use Mark, he's amazing, talk to him. When it's a referral, I think that the conversion metrics are a little bit easier. But when you go out and you're farming and you're buying leads, right? People are like, okay, well, I just met Steve, like what the heck? And just think about that from building up your review portfolio. It's not always there. You can always provide it, right? But if it's a referral, I think that you're going to have a better time converting them without having that social proof necessary. But anybody and everybody, every single closed transaction should warrant some type of review. Facebook, Google, not LinkedIn,
right.
Yelp.
You need to get that review.
You've got to get it. Just build it up. And I think it does help on your SEO stuff too. When somebody's Googling.
I'm going to give you an example here on Yelp. Back in the day, I think I had like 40 5-star reviews, which was great. But now people are way 46 5-star reviews. Still there. Yeah, still there. Now
Vanguard's not doing so good at 2 reviews or at 56 2-stars. I don't know what's going on there,
but if you look at the competition, right? If you don't start getting it now, the competition is going to surpass you. And look, it's an arms race. This one, Yvette Tang, 123, right? How are you going to catch up to that if you don't get the reviews now, right?
Yeah.
And so many people used to find me on Yelp. Alex Wang, Rainmaker Realty, 134. Angela, 148, right? It's just like it's an arms race. You need to get those reviews.
So go back up real quick.
Yep.
I want to point something out. So what's interesting is First of all, reviews don't really cost you anything. You already did business with somebody, you've earned that business. So getting a free review only helps, right? So you do 100 transactions over a few years, 3 years, whatever the case may be. Go back to where the comparison was of the 104, 105.
Yeah.
Hold on, right there. Okay, stop. So when I was looking for something on Amazon, 3 of the same products, different company, roughly the same product. The only one that I looked at was the 2 that had the most reviews. Like one only had like 14 reviews and the other had like 350 and 260.
Right. Which one are you gonna buy?
But I think it was I think it was the middle one. It wasn't the one with the most. I think it was the other, just because it was like, you know, a nickel cheaper or something. But I only looked at those 2. So if somebody was searching, just think about that. You know, this is investing in your business long term anyway. Right. And you can always use this. So this is kind of interesting because I would probably just call one of these 2 guys. I don't know if I would call Dave. I don't know if I would call David. No disrespect to David.
Yeah, no disrespect to David, but based on the reviews, right? That's why you always got to get it. You got to find a way to get it. It's really weird to ask for it without giving something. So like you give something, then you get something, right?
Yeah.
Now of course you gave them great service.
And that's why this post-closing high note is so good, right? We can go full screen. I think we could probably close this. Right. Let's talk about some other things that we can add. So I personally think that a video thank you message.
Oh yeah.
You could do it personal.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark, so great working with you. Or you could do it evergreen. Hey, I just wanted to say thank you so much. It's been a pleasure working with you. If there's everything. I think at the very top underneath your profile picture, that's quick little intro video. That's
a good idea. Yeah.
They're going to hit it. They're going to push play. It only has to be a minute long, guys. The selfie, whatever it is. But real estate is such a face business. That's why people put their faces on postcards and business cards. Like people, you want to be memorable. And I'm sure that you are. But one more little video isn't going to hurt. I definitely think a video thank you at the top would be an excellent way to open it up. Or even say, thank you, it was such an amazing time working with you. I've included the links of all kinds of things that are going to be helpful during your transition into your new home. Things like this, X, Y, Z. And don't forget, I have a review link at the bottom. I'd love for you to get a review. I grow my business by word of mouth like so many other people, and every review counts. Like really factor in what the content is below. So I think that there's a way to marry.
That's a great idea.
In there.
That's a great
We talked about the closing statements, documents. What about post-closing services? So ancillary services is a great way to pick up additional revenue, right? We understand the rules on title and mortgage, but there are other partners that you can probably have in your business that can help offset some of your marketing costs. Your painters, right? Painters, snow and lawn, other contractors, interior designers. Yeah.
Yep. How many times you get asked that and you're scrambling to find someone, right?
Yes.
So interior designers, who else?
Yeah, give them a list. Interior designers, trash removal. You know, like if you're in one of those neighborhoods where it's not just automatic and you got to find a trash removal place. Insurance, house cleaners, anything that you would think that person would need post-closing, I think is a great list of resources. So if you don't already have a list of these resources, create one using a Google Doc, work out your affiliate partnership with these people as long as they're credible and they do good work. Obviously, don't just grab random people, find the right ones.
Right. You got to build a relationship, a Rolodex.
Yes, exactly. Because we're about to move and we were looking for a painter. Like,
where are you moving? Do you care to share?
Not too far, just kind of like down the road, right?
Nice.
And she, the missus just wants a new fresh coat of paint on it, and that would have been really awesome had we known or had a bunch of lists. Instead, we had to go.
An agent? Did you use an agent, Randy?
Yes, we used an agent, and then we asked a friend of ours who's a painter, right? But in a traditional sense, right? Having a list of painters would be great. Come out, have 3 bids done, have the highest one, resubmit a bid, etc. I personally like this next idea. Links to free meals or coupons. So the first week of moving is chaotic. Yeah. And I know you moved from the city proper to the burbs, right, with the family. That week of moving is nuts.
Oh.
Like your wife's trying to get everything in order and all this other stuff.
It took
And
years of my life off.
yeah, like how nice would it be the moving day where it's like, hey, here's a free pizza, and the next day, here's some Italian, and then the next phase this. What's it going to cost you? 50, 60 bucks for a couple of these? Because you know that they're not set up in their house. Their kitchen's still in boxes. And by being able to provide something like that is just a little bit extra.
Right.
If you sold a $400,000 house or $350,000 house, you made a great commission. A couple little extra things might just go the extra mile as far as getting them into that advocacy stage, which is where we're trying to get them.
Right, make them love you. So what would you do? Buy a coupon or a gift card, or what do you do?
Yeah, you could do the gift cards, or the redeemable ones. You could put it in there. You could screenshot it and send it to them. There's a lot of different ways that you can provide these. Buy a meal for somebody else. There's all these online now, the online gift cards where they got to scan the QR code. Same thing, right? Boom, done.
Right. I like that.
You already talked about the reviews and the importance of reviews. So Zillow, Facebook, Google, Yelp.
Back to the resources, the vendors. We kind of glossed over a little bit, but painters, interior decorators, cleaners, movers, yeah, cleaners, movers, painters, interior designers. What other people? Handymen.
Pool cleaners.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Gardeners.
Yeah. I mean, this is getting super fancy, but I'm seeing all these people now who have nice cars. They got these mobile detail, these.
I love that. I just did
mobile details. They spray them with the foam, right?
Yeah.
Maybe this is for your, $1 million or $2 million, or in San Francisco, your $8 million dollar houses. But you never know.
Mobile car wash people.
Yeah.
What else?
I mean, just a list.
Babysitters? No, that's tricky.
So I do have that on the list. I have school systems and childcare.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like a family that's moving to a neighborhood, where the boundary lines are for your school systems, where the bus routes are, because I know sometimes even if you move a mile, like all of a sudden you're in the same district, but now you have to go to a different school. Or where does the bus pick up? What time does it typically drop off? Right. If it is a family, that's probably something that they would want to know. I'm sure the family did the due diligence on, where their kids.
I hope you gave that ahead of time too.
I hope so too, right? But nevertheless, like having that in there, I think is a really, really good idea.
Yeah.
I like this idea, and some people say that I'm crazy. I think that all real estate agents should sell boxes, and I think real estate agents should put their logos on boxes. I mean, everybody's
moving
boxes.
Wow.
Yeah, like if you think about it, you could probably buy these boxes for, 50 cents or whatever. You could probably add a little button on your website where they could like order boxes, and then the box manufacturer sends them. We need $500 worth of boxes. Right. It sure as heck beats dumping or diving in a dumpster behind Best Buy or something, or calling a bunch of friends, hey, who's got boxes? And then a lot of the times people save some of those boxes. The other times they throw some of them away. And then other times they give them away to somebody else that they might know.
Great idea. Because those boxes, a lot of them you'll keep. And then they'll be there in your garage, in your storage forever. And it's like free. And
you could probably make some money. So if you're buying a box, let's just say, Mark, financially wise, and I know that this is peanuts. Yeah. If you're buying a box for 25 cents and you're selling it for 50 cents, maybe that offsets some of the cost for your meals. Maybe your boxes is your way to recap the money that you spend on a week's worth of meals for somebody or something of that nature. Like that is a revenue center.
Yeah, but I see staying in touch with your client. Not just immediately after. I mean, this is post-close. This is what you do immediately. If you think about your listing business as a funnel, as a resource, as a business where you're going to be getting referrals from your past clients. But how many times have you heard that the seller or the buyer forgets their agent's names within a year?
Yeah, for sure.
There's some percentage of them.
It's a huge percentage.
Yeah, we got to get that number, but there's some huge percentage. It's like 70%, I think. It's very high. I could see their face. What's that guy's name? Oh, what's his name? I could see him. I could totally, I don't understand why I
It should
forget.
never happen. It should never happen.
Having that logo on the box, like your name or whatever, your logo, that's a brilliant idea, right?
It's one of those like stupid, simple ideas. And it's like, it's just one of those things, like you're in the housing business, right? Like there's gotta be some additional things that you could do, and boxes is certainly one of them.
Right.
People are not going to put it all in Rubbermaid storages. It's way too expensive. You had mentioned this one. So as a listing agent, you have a house listed for a week, 10 days, a month, 2 months, right? In this market, probably not, but you've probably met a handful of their neighbors. So you said a list of the neighbors who you've met. Brian that lives to the left, Sally lives to the right.
Right.
Here's their information. I actually met, Samantha and her partner right down the street here. They're really nice. They got a little boy. Right. Here are some people in the neighborhood that I met. Here's their contact information. They said text them when you move in, and they'll bring over the wine or whatever.
That's right. But also, when you get those neighbors, reach out to the neighbors and introduce the buyer, right? The new buyer. Because again, you need to reach people. You need to find an excuse to reach people other than sending your stupid postcards, just listed, just sold. So use it as an opportunity. Hey, let me introduce you to this neighbor. I just met him, great person. Build a relationship, not just with the new neighbor, but using it as a way to provide help for your client. Leverage. Okay, go ahead. What else?
What about, so another thing, I know people are utilizing their social medias as their own personal CRM. And I think it's an absolute brilliant way.
Absolutely.
So having links to connect with me on Instagram, connect with me on Facebook, maybe LinkedIn. If you're doing YouTube and you're doing like hyper localized content, restaurants, what's going on, what's happening, or you got like a Facebook community page, I think that's a great way to say, hey, connect with me on Instagram. I got all kinds of stuff about the local stuff. I mean, real estate agents are really kind of in tune a lot of times to what's happening, events, parades, restaurants, all these different things. Like if you are that person,
first of all,
if you don't post, maybe Facebook isn't.
First, if you're not, you need to be, right? So again, evergreen content, figure out how to way to make this easier. I would create an events page or a link. Just put a link to the event, local events in your high note.
So I got security systems. If there's a lot of these new digital security systems. So like the current owner has an XYZ security system. It's already plumbed up for that. They got the monitors, the cameras. You can re-up the security system. It was only costing them, $40 a month. Here's the contact information. And typically when a system's already installed by the provider, there's no initiation or no like equipment install fee when the homeowner leaves that stuff behind. So you basically just pick up the new subscription underneath that. ADT, I forget the one that we had, but it's all like cameraed out. Where you can see it and you can control it from that like general dashboard.
Securify is like Secure Home or something like this.
I don't know. It's one of those.
Even Comcast has something like this now. It's crazy.
Yeah, I have a list of the professional photos, buyer or seller. So if you're the buyer of the property, a lot of people like to post photos of their house. Hey, we just bought this home, and people will post a bunch of them. And if you provide them with some really nice photos, maybe even your logo on those photos, they post them versus their selfie one. Right, where it's like there's some cobwebs on the siding or something like that. So that was just an idea.
It's a great idea. You know why? Because the hardest thing as a buyer agent is to tell other people in your sphere or the public or the internet that you represented the buyer on a sale. You just closed the deal, but you represented a buyer. How do you tell people legally without permission from the listing agent? Because you cannot advertise that property. You can't say just sold, right? That is the property. Literally, the property is the property. of the brokerage, and you need permission to advertise that thing. So getting the photos is a great way to start building up your buyer portfolio, right? And get permission, ask.
A lot of listing agents are cool with it. I've seen some that are like, they can't do that. Like,
most are.
If you ask, I think.
Right? And then you're always scrambling. That's a great idea, Randy. You're always scrambling later. Oh, I need to show everything I sold. And then you have to go grab it, go find it. Oh, what was the other one? So grab it now, right? And then use those pictures to build your buyer portfolio, because you start just like the reviews, right? The guy had 120, you saw that. Every single transaction, you have to do something that builds your portfolio, your expertise. It's reviews, it's sales portfolio, your buyers that you represented, and your sellers that you represented, right? And there's many other things, but you want to build on it so it grows and it grows and it grows. And I would use those photos to build or to add to my just represented buyer website, right? Your personal website, my buyers represented. Build an entry, right? That is you with those photos that you said, and create a process where you're always getting those photos, you're sharing them with the buyer, the new homeowner, but you're also using that to build your portfolio of buyers helped, right? How many buyers I represented? Good, it's a great idea.
So, you on that topic, like this just clicked for me. You and I were talking about the network effect book, right? Earlier. Yeah. Oftentimes on Facebook or Instagram, I see a buyer do the picture, right? We just bought a house, and they post the picture of the house, and then they tag the real estate agent. I see this all the time. From a network effect standpoint, if you give them the professional photos, because of course they're going to do the selfie of the husband, wife, kid thing, but then they always seem to add a couple more, like a kitchen, a bath, a bed. They tag the agent. So that buyer is tagging the agent with the photos, right? Blah, 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 blah. That agent doesn't know the 1,000 Facebook friends that person has, as in the buyer or the seller. Anytime that this is happening, or if an agent tags the buyer or the seller, you're now reaching into their pond, creating exposure. So all of those 1,000 people, you might know 2 of their friends. Now 50 people, 60 people, 70 people inside of that buyer or seller's network are now seeing that, oh my God, Bill and Melissa just bought a house. They use this, Kelly girl, like we've been talking about moving bait, like we know Bill, absolutely. We know these people. Let's call them and see how their experience was.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think you posting yours too, like on your side and tagging them, right? Excellent. And so that they can repost. Yeah. Great idea.
And then last but not least, and this is coming or new, is a lead capture. If you ever come across somebody that wants to talk about real estate or is looking to buy, sell, or rent, put their contact information here and I will reach out to them. So this is something new with Highnote.
Yeah, no, I got to talk about it. Let me describe it real quickly for those.
So now you're actually able to use the Highnote as a lead capture as well. Right. So again, you've given all of this great information. They go through it, they come back to it. And when you do your reach out, they always have that link. So if they are at the soccer field, it's like they just got to click the link and be like, I just talked to Amanda and Bill, and they're thinking about moving to our community because their kid loves the soccer team here. Reach out to them. Like they're going to generate those referrals for you. Yeah. And they might not have your cell phone or remember the email. You just never know.
Yeah. And for you Highnote users, what we're talking about is a new feature where not only can you add PDFs and videos and websites, but you can actually add a lead capture form. And we're going to be announcing this and releasing this really soon. Basically, you add a lead capture by clicking on lead capture, add lead capture. And so what it does is, wanting to visit this home, you insert a lead capture and you title it. And let's just say this is I'm just put YouTube in here. Let's say this was the property video or property marketing. This is the lead capture form. So then what it is this is a preview of it. The viewer will be able to see this and they could enter in their information in here. That's what the lead capture form is. It's a beta feature. Now, in your example, Randy.
In conclusion, right? Like at the bottom of the page, you could obviously do it at the top. I wouldn't, but put it at the bottom and say, listen, I grow my business word of mouth. If you ever know somebody looking to buy or sell or just talk about real estate goals, put their information and I will contact them directly.
So know anybody needing help about real estate.
Right. Whatever it is, put that there. And then what a great way, because I guess I would do it as a consumer a few different ways. I would either give them your number, depending on the relationship that we had, or I would just say, oh, I used Brian. But this is a super simple way to just be like, yeah, I can have my friend Mark reach out to you. This is landing page like 4.0.
4.0.
Right?
Not even 2.0.
That's not even 2.0. It's 4.0. We're already through 1, 2. I think that we're on 3 right now with the mobile squeeze page, but exactly. a new way of doing that, right? Exactly. And all of these things, you guys, you don't have to put them all in there. We're just giving you recommendations of different things. And just like anything, you add a piece, you add a piece, you add a piece. Wow the customer at closing. And from a delivery mechanism, you all know that you can grab the link and copy it and text it to them. So after your closing with your key, right, at the title company, photo, text them a link. Be like, hey, Mark, I just text you a link. I've included everything that you need from your closing stuff, or if you have the closing statement, right, all of that stuff. You could do it right there on the spot, or you could do it an hour or 2 or 3 later, or even the next day. Send it to them. Send it via email and send it via text. And then make sure, as a quick follow-up, to set a reminder in your Google Calendar or in your CRM.
It froze. Randy was dropping bombs and it froze. Oh my God, he froze. All right. Oh, you're back. All right, you're back. Okay, come on. Sorry, you were dropping a bomb and then you froze the internet. You broke it. Say it one more time.
The end of the closing, right? You send them the information via text or via email. That's the great thing about Highnote. Send them the text link after you get done with your closing, an hour later, 2 hours later. Set yourself a reminder in Google Calendars, whatever task program you're using, or your CRM, to follow up with Sally and James a week later. Every touch point counts. Hey, Sally, it's Mark calling or Randy calling. I just wanted to make sure that you got everything that I sent you. I sent you the closing your closing statement, a link to all kinds of professionals that we use, a list of resources. Is there anything else that I can do for you? Just an extra touch point matters, because again, you want them to remember.
Touches. A lot of different
little touches, like you said. End of the year, you use that as a time to be like, hey, go check your Highnote. Just want to let you know, for your taxes, your stuff is in there. If you ever need anything, reach out to me. As somebody who worked in the CRM space for a long time, people didn't know what to talk about. Like, they didn't know what to reach out and talk to somebody, a year later about.
Oh yeah, be helpful, right? Be helpful.
So we just created 2 additional easy touch points that can be done via text message or phone call easily. Simple.
It's awesome. Anything else?
I hope everybody enjoyed this. I know we've been jamming for like 40 minutes-ish. So
we could talk about this forever. Awesome.
Great use of the product and super scalable.
Absolutely. Do you want to anything? Do we take questions, or what do we do?
Yeah, I guess if somebody's got questions, like, we could definitely do that. This is just such a piece of low-hanging fruit that anybody could utilize.
Yeah. Cool. Good. If there are questions and you're watching this on replay, just post a comment. Post a comment and we'll respond.
Thank you. I appreciate everybody who watches our video.
Awesome. Thanks, man. I hope it was helpful, guys. And any other topic you guys want to talk about, let us know. Thanks, guys. If you want to keep getting tips, hit the subscribe button as well. Thanks for watching, and we hope you get a lot out of this.